So today I've got another lighting kit to show you. Now this is the Corsair iCUE LINK LS350 Aurora lighting kit. I'll link to all these products in the description below. You can check them out. Just to be clear up front, Corsair does sell this in two different versions. They sell the iCUE LINK version of the Aurora strip and then a non-iCUE LINK version of the strip. If you want to connect this to your motherboard or sync it up with an RGB hub or something like that, do buy the non-iCUE LINK version of this kit. The Aurora strips are available in two different sizes. The ones I have with me today are the 350 millimeter version. They're also offering it in a 430 millimeter version. The 430 millimeter strip has 49 LEDs on there, and the 350 millimeter version has 40 on there. As we'll look in the kit here in just a second, this comes with some adhesive tape that you can kind of work it around your case. Also does have the ability to magnetically attach to your case. But what this offers up is a couple of different ways to connect it. Now the connection itself is just the standard Corsair 3-pin Molex connector. You can connect this to a Commander Core XT, a Lighting Node Pro, or a Commander Pro. Connecting this to iCUE LINK is really what is kind of special about this kit. But the iCUE LINK adapter comes with that little 3-pin connector so that you can connect this into the iCUE LINK system. But it does so much more. We'll talk about it. So let's go ahead and crack the box open and take a look at what you get with this kit. Now in the kit, obviously you get the two RGB strips themselves, all of the cables to connect you up. They do give you an iCUE LINK 100 millimeter. This has the standard connections on here. This will help you get it connected into the iCUE LINK system. It does come with two extension cables because the cables on the ends of the strips themselves, they're quite short. That's not really going to be adequate for most cases to get that connected. But you can extend that out. This is just a female to a male extension cable. And so you can extend that out, and so this should help you route it around your case a little bit better. But you get two of those, one for each strip. It does come with an iCUE LINK connector blade. Now this would be used to connect it directly into an iCUE LINK hub if you wanted it directly there. But you can just use the cables to connect it in. I need to talk to you briefly about the included RGB adapter cable from Corsair included with this kit. Now let's take this RGB adapter cable real quick. Now if this looks different than the one I used earlier in the video and the one that came with your kit, it's because it is. I've got the original one buried deep in a PC right now and I didn't want to pull it out. So this cable real quick, on the one side it has the Corsair 3-pin, which is a Molex connector. This is the male version of this connector. On the other side it adapts it to a standard 3-pin 5-volt ARGB connector. This has the male pins on it. These pins are not removable like they are on some connectors. Now, there is a purpose for this adapter cable in the kit, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this cable is not adequate for adapting this to a motherboard header, or in the case that I'll show you here in just a second, to an RGB hub. Now, let's bring in the strip for a second. So on the strip, obviously on the one end, we have, again, the Corsair 3-pin Molex male connector. And on the other side, we have just the Corsair 3-pin Molex, the female connector. Now, an RGB strip, you have to feed data into this only in one direction. And so the direction in this one is going to be on the male side, meaning our RGB signal needs to come from here. If we feed the RGB signal into this other side, it will not work. So basically, I've just went ahead and I've adapted it using this splitter cable. So I've connected it to the RGB hub, and then it adapts it to a female connection here. Now we need to adapt this connector, the female 3-pin 5-volt ARGB connector, to the female version of the Corsair adapter. So let's go ahead and plug in the included adapter cable from Corsair over here. And as you'll see, we get nothing out of the RGB strip. I can come over here. I can change the colors on the controller itself, but we're getting nothing out of the strip. And that really is because we're feeding the wrong direction, and this is the included adapter cable. Now let's go ahead and switch it to the other side, and there's a couple of challenges with this particular setup to do that, is that the male connection doesn't connect to the other male side of the connection, so we have to adapt that somehow. So I quickly just hacked together a female to female connector to bridge these two connections. So we'll plug it into the one side here, and then we'll plug in the Corsair adapter cable to the other side. And that then gives me the male connections, and let's go ahead and connect that into our motherboard header. And you'll see now that the RGB strip lights up, and of course we can change the color. There's red, green, blue. We can put it into this mode. Now the takeaway here is that we know that the strip is working, and it works with our RGB hub, which again, this would work the same way if this were a motherboard connector, but you cannot feed it from this side, and the included adapter cable only connects it from this side. Now, going back to a video that I recently did on the power supply RGB strips from Corsair, basically it's kind of the same setup. You know, it's a power supply strip, but it's got the same two connectors on it. I looked at the adapter cable that they included with that, and it is the correct one. It's the complete opposite of this cable. The cable included with that kit is the female connector, which will connect to the male side of this. And the other end of that cable included with the power supply kit is the 5-volt 3-pin ARGB connector, but it's the female version of this, which would connect to your motherboard adapter cable. So again, just to recap, the included adapter cable with this kit is not adequate for connecting this to a motherboard, not without adapting everything like I've done here. So you must feed this male side in order to get this to work. But right in the guide on the Corsair's website for this product, it shows using this cable connected into here and using this side with the male connectors, which that's not going to connect to your motherboard header any day of the week that I'm aware of. Anyways, this is not a suitable cable for this. Corsair is actually selling this kit as a non-iCUE Link version of the kit, meaning it doesn't come with the iCUE Link RGB adapter or the iCUE Link cabling. But on the product page for that, it's showing the same incorrect cable here, meaning they're implying again that this cable will allow you to connect it directly to a motherboard on the incorrect side. I don't know if that's an error on Corsair's part, and they are including the correct cable with that kit. But in both kits, in my opinion, it should have the other adapter cable with the female end similar to this that will connect over here, and the female end of the 5-volt 3-pin ARGB connector over here. Now, where this cable is very valuable is with the iCUE Link RGB adapter. Now, the intention is for you to connect the Aurora strip directly into the iCUE Link RGB adapter, either directly with this or using the extension cable. Either is fine, it's the same thing. And that works good. And so the strips work great with the iCUE Link RGB adapter. There's no issues there. This cable here is very valuable because you can plug it into the same connector. Plugging that cable in there does actually convert it to a standard 3-pin 5-volt ARGB connector. This is the equivalent of your motherboard header. And in the other video that I did on this, you can see exactly how to get this to work with all sorts of other RGB products out there. But just be aware that if you're buying this kit and you want to connect it directly to your motherboard or an RGB hub like this, the included cable so far is not suitable to that. You need to adapt it in some other way, so there's going to be an additional purchase there. Please do let us know if you purchase this after this video has been made. It may be that Corsair will catch this and update it and hand out the proper cable in addition to this one here. I think on the non-iCUE Link version of this kit, there's no real reason to include this cable. You just really need to include the other one, and that would be sufficient. Now, this particular kit still does connect up fine to the Lighting Node Pro, the Commander Core XT, and the Commander Core. This problem doesn't affect connecting it to that. So if somebody out there has the non-iCUE Link version of this product, can you let us know if it does have the proper adapter cable? I'm certain that it does. The only problem I have with it is the tech guide on that product page is showing this incorrect photo here that will not work. So let us know. Now, we just talked about the adapter cable not being suitable to connect to the female end of the RGB strip, but there is one use case where you could use this. Now, we talked about the signal coming in on the other side and then exiting out this side for the next strip. Now, you could plug this in here, and then you could connect, say, just standard RGB devices here. But I've got this Cooler Master fan on the bench here. Let's go ahead and power it off and we'll connect it up. Just make your connection with the 3-pin RGB connector. And then we can go ahead and power that back up. Now in iCUE, you'll need to configure the Aurora strips to include at least 2 of them. So I've only got just the single one here. You will need to configure an additional one to get any lighting over here. But as you can see, the Cooler Master fan is lit up, looks really good. But that is another potential use of the adapter cable is to continue the daisy chain into non-Corsair RGB lighting. Now, as I mentioned, the star of the show is this iCUE Link adapter. So let's talk about how you implement this into iCUE Link. It's very simple to do. You do need an iCUE hub. Now, this comes with many of the starter kits for iCUE Link. You can buy this separately from Corsair if you want to do that. Anyways, you do need this hub. This is the brains of the operation. But essentially, and I'm just going to simplify this here in front of you, basically you plug this into USB, plug a power cable into it. I'm not going to demonstrate that there. I've got other videos on iCUE Link if you want to know more. But basically, take your first iCUE Link cable, and you're just going to make a connection here. And so that would be just one chain here. But then the iCUE Link adapter just connects into this system. So we'll just connect it up to this here. and then that will give you the ability to control this device. Now, it does come with an additional iCUE Link cable. Now, if you're familiar with iCUE Link at all, the cables are reversible. It doesn't matter which side you use. It's just a complete system. But from here, you can continue the iCUE Link chain, hooking in more fans, more controllers, hubs, things like that. Now, you could plug the strip directly into this port because you do have a male connector on the strip. That'll work. And this would work just fine to power this device, and you can just chain on additional strips here. Obviously, you can also take the extension cable and plug it into the port and then plug in the strip from here, and that gives you quite a bit more length to work with. So I've got the Tower 600 with me today that I've been working on, and I've got my hub in here, and basically I've just taken one of the chains off of that, and I've just connected it directly into the iCUE Link adapter, and then of course I've just continued my chain over here to another fan, and of course from here I could continue on throughout the rest of the case. Now, you should make all of your connections with the PC's power turned off. These are not hot swap connections, but you do want to connect either in the extension cable for the strip, or you can connect the chain of strips directly to the controller. So now I've got my two strips connected back to the iCUE Link adapter, and of course that ties into the iCUE Link ecosystem. All right, so I've went ahead and made all of my connections here, and I've just kind of set them in the case. This isn't going to be the final position. Now, you can do a little bit of a tighter bend with these. You can get it, pretty tight there. Just got to use the tape and kind of work it around. Now, they are pretty thin strips. They're about 7 millimeters in thickness, so you can get these like right up against the motherboard and just kind of accent different pieces in your case. Again, that's up to you how you want to use them and make it look its best. But once you've powered up, make sure you have the latest version of iCUE installed, and you may have to update either your hub or the iCUE Link adapter. Just do whatever updates it wants you to do. It's always best with this to have the latest software on there. At least that's my experience with Corsair's iCUE. But once you have that installed, load up iCUE, and you should see your iCUE Link adapter here, and you can go ahead and click into it. And from here, you can do the lighting setup. Now, again, I'm going to do another video on this because this does a whole lot of different things other than just the strips here. So from here, the set up the lighting channel, you can click the down arrow button and go ahead and select the LS Aura series. And then from here, you can go ahead and select how many strips you have. Number of 350 millimeter strips or the number of 450. Just make it match up with whatever you have. So I have 2 of the 350 millimeter strips. You can run the setup wizard if you want, but it basically just guides you through this same setup here. There's nothing really unique about this. And then from here, you just treat it like any other iCUE RGB device. Come back to lighting effects, and we can click the plus sign, and we can select watercolor. And of course, you get the visual representation of the strip, and you can control just individual LEDs on here, however you want to set it up. And of course, if you're familiar with iCUE, you can get in here and customize a whole lot of different things. But we can just select, a few little LEDs here. But we can apply all of the different things to it. Color wave. Oh, let me select all. Of course, you can create your own lighting zones and so on and so forth. We can do color warp, color wave, marquee, rain, rainbow. If you're familiar with iCUE, it's all the same standard stuff. I don't see any new lighting sequences specific for these strips, and I'm not sure what they would do that was unique to these, but it's the same ones. Now, of course, we can do lighting link, and we can change all of the colors on the whole system, and the strips just participate within that effect. But as far as a lighting strip goes, it's really a high quality, great looking RGB strip. But in person, the strips look really, really good. Now, it is a fair discussion to talk about. It's just this little iCUE Link adapter box that's making this an iCUE Link compatible product. The strips themselves really aren't doing anything to make themselves iCUE Link compatible. So in that sense, if you want to use these, it's another box. It's more cabling, and in some sense, it seems like it kind of defeats the purpose of what iCUE Link was about. But when you really think about it, what are you going to do with an RGB strip anyways? You've got to make a connection into this system somehow. And so, either you have the iCUE Link cables on the end, which doesn't seem really practical. This seems like the best way to go to me. But as I'm going to do another video on, this little box really opens up the door to a lot of other RGB setups that you can do. But overall, this is a great little set of RGB strips, albeit it's a little bit expensive. For the 450 millimeter kit, it's $69.99, which is pricey for RGB strips, let's be honest. For the 350 millimeter version, I paid $64.99, I believe. And then I believe if you get the non-iCUE Link version, which is the same exact strip, it just doesn't come with the box and the iCUE Link cable, so that you can sync it up to your motherboard. You can sync it up to, you know, the Lighting Node Pro, the Commander Core XT, the Commander Core, so you can still get iCUE control over it. You're just not going to do it with iCUE Link. But I believe for the non-iCUE Link enabled, it's about $49.99. It might be $44.99 for the 350 millimeter version. I will put links and affiliate links in the description below so you can check out the latest pricing, get some more information on these products, and maybe by then, maybe by the time you're watching this, this iCUE Link adapter will become available by itself. As of right now, the only place I see this adapter is with this particular kit. It seems like they need to expand that and sell this on its own, in my opinion. But overall, I think this is a great little lighting kit from Corsair. Love the iCUE Link adapter. Opens up some doors, which I'm going to talk about in the other video, so check that out. But that is going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching.